I was actually not in Austria when it happened. I was abroad. But speaking to various people, I was told that, of course, Austria acceded in 1995, okay? After a very brief period of negotiations. There were no, at that time, territorial disputes, no known war criminals, at least not on recent wars, whatever, to be delivered, etc. The reason Austria applied, even though it was a prosperous state, like Switzerland. So Austria did not have an urgent need to get hold of the money pots of Brussels for subsidies here, regional support there, nothing of that sort. So why? Small, neutral state. We had a good life. And the reason was that the political institutions that had been established after 1945, okay, which had to rebuild the state in many ways, they had come to a stalemate. They no longer could proceed or agree. There was a gridlock in decision making. And what do you do if you cannot agree on how or where to go? You open up. You make someone else the arbitrator. You open the window to let some fresh air come into your little poky room where nothing moves and the dust gathers. That is the reason. It's institutional change as much as economic change, or more so. It's doing things together with others, rather than infighting between villages, okay? And that's really what it is. And nowadays, I mean, I'm answering not your question, but perhaps a concluding remark before conclusion. I keep going on about what the real benefit of the European Union is to its citizens, in my view. It's not the economic benefits, it's not increased competition, which produces welfare effects and economic benefits. It's the protection of the common institutions against your own government. Okay? And that is valuable. The North Korean people have no recourse to anybody. If the beloved leader number 1 or number 58 finds that mass starvation is good for the common health of the people, there's nothing you can do about it. Okay? If Mr. Orban, on the other hand, because of some chance circumstances, has a 2/3 or 3/4 majority in parliament and is able to change the constitution to suit him and his party, and interferes with the common institutional and legal values, the European Union speaks up. And Mr. Orban will listen. I don't know whether you have seen the debates in the European Parliament. Orban was actually called in, speak to justify your legislation, curbing media freedom, curbing the independence of the National Bank and the Constitutional Court, etc., etc. There were some MPs of the European Parliament assaulting Orban, bastard, or other things, reactionary, fascist, whatever. Now, that is the popular reflection of discontent. But at the official level, the Commission in Brussels has brought 3 court actions against Hungary before the European Court of Justice. So, to put it differently once again, the people of Hungary are not subject simply to the whims of an autocratic revival in Hungary. They have become a member because they wanted and support the common values. They include media freedom, they include an independence of the National Bank, they preclude governmental actions of the kind that Orban has recently managed to stage. That's really the benefit of the European Union, let alone increased incomes, this and that, a holiday home in Spain, or whatever in there. You get it?
Yeah, but you protect it from people from their own government, but you expose them to Brussels bureaucracy. And if Brussels bureaucracy
common values,
a directive on masturbation the same way, you know, you cannot avoid it. You have to obey. And as what was with Lisbon Treaty,
but wait a
nobody voted for this. It was a popular decision.
The
Like
Hungarians did.
expertise.
The Hungarians did.
No, but those just legislators. It was not kind of.
The Hungarians had not been forced into membership. Nobody could force them.
No, I mean,
There were no
Lisbon
tanks
Treaty.
invading Budapest of any nation. The people of Hungary wanted membership.
Yes, as they wanted membership, they agreed to be part of, but they didn't. They lost opportunity to design institutions because all those institutions would be designed without any regard to their interest and without their voice to hear.
Okay. Now, you speak perhaps with the mind of a Russian who
Yes, yes, yes.
close to the idea of empire, close to the idea of shaping the destiny of the planet, etc., etc. Possibly, I don't know. Again, reflecting on Austria, okay? Austria is a permanently neutral state. I don't know whether you know what that means as a status in public international law. And some people say, well, we are going to give up our status. We have to. And we're losing sovereignty, the S word, okay? You have the F word and the S word in Britain. Yes, you lose sovereignty, but you know how very shrewdly this was reinterpreted. You may lose sovereignty, but instead you enhance your status through being part of a wider and much stronger. What's the use of the sovereignty of Monaco, okay? Or Andorra, or even Iceland.
But can you control the bureaucracy of Brussels? Can you control
Other than the financial markets. Yeah.
Professor, can you control the Brussels bureaucracy? How can you reach them? How can you make them accountable?
By asking questions in the European Parliament.
Oh, but it doesn't decide anything.
Well, and the Brussels democracy. You can bring down the Commission by vote of the European Parliament. Yes, you can bring them down. Mr. Santer, actually a guest in
Bulgaria can bring them down?
Sorry?
Bulgaria, can it bring them
Not on its own, but if there are MPs together with others.
with who?
No, well, look, you were saying basically, there's only one way to organize political life, the nation state.
Yes.
Okay. That is what the European states have said we are done with. Okay.
Who is the next?